Alright, we're gonna rank all the tyrannid lists right now. We're gonna start in order on the book, so if you guys want to, you can follow along as I go along. Alright, the first one we're gonna talk about is the Hive Tyrant, where he would fall in this. Well, he's obviously, by himself, because this is also, he gives you the, like, if you have a lot of your army that's shooting based, he's gonna be really good. A perfect ad for any army that has anything that can shoot. Tyranids don't have that many assault weapons, so it will be really handy for that. And then any infantry model around them gets a 6+ feel no pain, or not feel no pain. Gets a 6+ invulnerable save from go to ground and bonus of cover, so they can get cover anywhere. Or you can use it on any tactics. So there's always a use for its ability. Its downsides are it only puts out a medium amount of wounds, and is fairly weak for its toughness and wound count. So any shots that do get through, you're gonna really feel it with him, unless you pack some guard. But that's actually the guard's bonus, not his. So, I still say he's an auto include for most armies, unless you're going specific types like Crusher Stamp. Well, even Crusher Stampede, he has a lot, but he dies real easy in that detachment. But yeah, I'd give him an S because he's an auto include for most armies, and any auto includes is S. Obviously, it's an auto include. Winged Tyrant, it is an auto include, but that's only for one detachment, the invasion fleet, and that would give it the ability to advance and charge. Basically 3d6 on the charge instead of just 2. Just huge. It can turn its movement from a 12-inch to an 18-inch. Well, averagely 15 to 16-inch, but still. And then the charge is another 2d6, so it's pretty good to get in there real close. Its downside is only 9 toughness, and that's really big. It means missile launchers and stuff that you're going to focus into it is going to fucking hurt. Like, literally hard. And then you can't back them up with any hive guard, so unless you have to place them perfectly to avoid those rocket shots. Otherwise, it won't take too many shots to bring him down. Prime's good with that sustained hit one. He's really good in any squad. Yeah. This downside is he gives warriors flying, and that's a really big nerf to them because they already can run through buildings. The one thing they can do is jump up to another floor, but that won't really matter too much because if you're going to pack that, you're probably... Well, let's see. Does it give melee? Weapons, equipment... No, they're shooting weapons, so... I guess the flying would work with the gunned Tyranids, warriors, because it gets the sustained, and then they can fly up to multiple levels and start shooting down for that bonus AP. But it also gives them flying, which there is a whole bunch of weapons in the Space Marine Codex, the Eldar Codex, all the codexes that specifically target flying. And that's a huge nerf for that reason there. So anything that gives them flying is going to hit it on 2s regardless. And have other bonuses like +1 to hit, or gives your entire army +1 to hit. Anything with flying, be very skeptical about, because it's going to be very hard not to get bonuses against it. This thing, you only bring if you need synapse. Its gun's not that great. It's okay. Okay at best, but it's 105 points. Its ability, the first node lash, only works when it's leading a crew, and it can only lead Tyrant Guard and fucking Neural and these fucking things. These things are useless, pretty much. So yeah, I'd unless you're actually lacking the synapse, which this everything has synapse pretty much. The Prime has synapse. The Hive Tyrant has synapse. Most of the things you're gonna bring in your arm is gonna have synapse. Man. Man, warriors have synapse. You really don't need that much synapse, and that's all it's doing. Maybe -1 when you use Perils of the Warp to the leadership, but that's whatever. It's just whatever. That's luck-based. Luck-based shenanigans. I do not rank him very high. I would easily take a Prime in his squad over him. Anything. Alright, and the next guy will be the Norm Emissary. This guy is one of the big new models that they released with Shadows in the Warp and Synapse. He's really good at killing, just sitting on an objective and not being killable at all, ever. But that's all he does. He's really expensive, and he doesn't have 12 toughness, so las cannons are going to hurt when they get fired into him. And a lot of armies are just packing as many las cannons as they can. So you rush it onto the objective, like I said, and then it gets that 5+ feel no pain, and it becomes really hard to kill, and then it can, threaten anything that comes at it, pretty much. Not too sure for its point wise if it has way more survivability than a Haruspex, or not a Haruspex. What are they called? A Harudon, a Haruduel. It has one less toughness than a Haruduel, which means las cannons aren't going to need. Las cannons get 1 to wound on it, but other than that 4+ in Vaughn actually adds a lot to its survivability, capping all AP at 2, and most weapons have AP 3 or 4 that you're going to be shooting at it. Really good if you want to just sit on an objective with it and forget about that objective, because they have to dedicate a half of their army to kill this guy, which it will fall pretty fast at that rate. Anything will, but it won't suffer as much from this -4. Like it gets the most out of this the 4+ invul than most things in this list. And then the next unit is the Norm Assimilator. The Norm Assimilator is the opposite. He's really good at killing one thing, and that thing will be erased by the end of the match. It's really good at moving forward and just running crew to crew to crew with its 2 las cannons it shoots out at 12-inch range and harpoons them, so you get 2 to charge, so it's going to be really easy to make those charges too. And it's going to pop in a lot of damage actually with the 2+ to hit and 12 strength. Like I said, most things that have 11 toughness, you're only going to need 3s to wound against, so it's 2s and then 3s, and then you can get shit out there that gives you +1 to wound. So it's 2s again, and boom, you're just doing 12, roughly 10 damage a turn with this guy, killing a Hive Tyrant every turn with just its shots. Well, not every turn, because you're gonna miss at least 1 shot for 2 turns out of 3. Every third turn you're gonna hit both though, and do 10 damage. And then it's a beast in melee. Not quite as beastly as a Haruduan, but he's a tiny bit cheaper than them, and he has way more survivability, to the point where I'm pretty sure he can beat a Haruduan on the objective. that he claimed, or just marking the Herodon as the objective to kill. Neurolictor. And there's so many videos wanking this Neurolictor off. Oh, this guy. Yeah, he's about there too. Same rating, kills anything that they come into contact with, but they're kind of chunky. 300 and some points, and they can easily be targeted down first turn by las cannons. That's a lot of points to lose to las cannons, especially when there's armies packing a las cannon every 65 points they have in their army. Neurolictor. The Neurolictors, huh? Okay. Go watch the hundreds of videos jerking him off. There are tons of it. Man, people love this guy because he can infiltrate, get onto the objectives early, give you those early game points before the command phase starts. They can fucking threaten and zone out other parts of the map to prevent people from coming in. They force a battle shock test, which is luck-based. And if you are lucky with your one synapse in the warp, because most people combo this with the other guy, the other luck-based model, the Nero Tyrant, and try to luck-base out a bunch of +1 to wounds. That's 165 points you're using in that combo, which this guy, let's see, he has a 4+ invul, which makes him pretty tough. Half the wound shot, or half the damage, half the attack shot at him will bounce off of that invul, but the other half will get through, which will be mostly 2 damage and 3 damage weapons at strength 6 to 10, because strength 10 weapons start fucking really pumping into them. So, like, Malinceptors are its bane. And Malinceptors are, well, to the point, well, it does need 3 Malinceptor shots to get through in order to kill it, so that's a really good buff to it. However, yeah, it is. You can't deny that it's pretty tough for having 7 wounds, so it needs 3 of any one weapon to get through. Of any 3 damage weapons, and then any 2 damage weapons, you're still going to be overkilling it by 1 damage, giving it 8 wounds. And then 1 damage weapons, if you do warp in a crew of warp spiders on it and fucking torch it with them, he ain't going to be living through that. Actually, none of the leapers will, which is a really big downside because they have such a fast movement. They can literally teleport across the board and just fucking toast whatever they want. So if you pack too many squishies, Eldar will literally light you up. You will never get in close because they will ping you with their night spinners. The night spinners will slow your ass right down to a halt. And then the fucking warp spiders will warp in, burn your shit up, and move away just enough. Oh, they're going to be so annoying. Especially if you pack too many Lictor type units. Yeah. Anyway, that 4+ invul giving it 7 wounds makes it a lot more tough. To the point where you're going to fire a lot of weapons at it and it's going to live with 1 health. That's going to be pretty annoying. Or the Broodlord, on the other hand, needs his crew. If he doesn't have his crew, don't bring a Broodlord. Auto include if you do pick and then it's an auto include if you have the Vanguard fleet with the Hive Tyrant, because you're gonna have the Hive Tyrant absorb most of the fire early game, preventing it from going on your crews of Gene Stealers, so they'll get in. And they will do their max amount of damage with that devastating wound, the rerolls to hits and wounds, making them fucking gnarly because they ignore invul saves. Anything else will be torn to pieces because on average you're getting 45 hits in. And then, are they twin linked for the Gene Stealers? I don't think they're twin linked, luckily. No, they're not twin linked, so they don't need. They're pretty much going to need 6s to wound. But though each 6 he gets is going to be an auto wound, and you're not going to get anything against it. He's really good. His only downside is when he gets hit when his squad gets hit hard enough and he loses enough units that you won't get a lot of sixes with their attacks. And it'll start really weighing down on how much wounds you're going to be pumping out into your enemy. Or just, you can't do anything now because they broke all your stuff. He's kind of tanky and he has a 4+ invul. So, but he's only toughness 5, so a lot of strength 6 weapons are just going to start torching him. Especially like pyrovores. There's a lot of strength 6 weapons in this list, so having toughness 5 is a pretty big downfall. I would put him... He's an auto-include. Okay, I'll put him in A because he's an auto-include for the invasion fleet. The Swarm Lord. He's the middle child between enormous emissary and the fucking hive tyrant. He gives you that 1 CP a turn, which if you have a army that's CP heavy and you need 2 CP and it ain't a tactical, you pack a Swarm Lord. But there are some downsides for him. He's easy to kill with tank rounds. With any kind of rockets, wounding on 4s, las cannons, wounding on 3s, he's going to be taking a lot of damage when a weapon gets through. Which he will not stand up that well after enough of them gets pumped into him. So, yeah. He's really points expensive, too, for the amount of wounds he can put out. He doesn't put out that many with 8 3 damage attacks. Yeah, that's good. But they're only strength 9, so they can't do strength 10 hits on other units, like against zoanthropes. Since the Brood Lord itself, it's going to need 3s. Oh, it's pretty good, because if you're not packing... you could even pack it with the Hive Tyrant and get max CPs. He's really good. I'm going to put him in the top area because, yeah, you're packing him you're packing him or a Hive Tyrant, or you're packing both because their abilities do stack, and having 3 CP a turn is really nice. Old One Eye. You need his crew. You need his crew. He's really good. He's low toughness, 9 wounds. 3, but he does regen 3, so if you don't pop all 3 of his wounds in one turn, you're going to have to pop another 3 damage attack into him. So that can be pretty annoying, especially since you have to get through 2 other Carnifexes in order to even hurt him. Never pack an Old One Eye without his Carnifex crew. It's pointless. Oh, and he has that Feel No Pain, so that's going to be really good with him, too. That's going to actually help him survive those 3 damage hits. So you're always going to get 4 3 damage hits into him, so giving him roughly 12 health against those weapons. Again, he's going to have a really hard time against other weapons, though, like anti-tank rounds, like rocket launchers at toughness 9. Yeah, toughness 9, they're going to be hitting on 2s, on 3s. So all of the rockets and Space Marines are going to go right through him. And all of his other Carnifex buddies, giving them relatively no chance to survive. So if you do pump a lot of shots into him, it's going to go through his armor. So you better hope you're making those 5+ armor saves. Or 4+ armor saves against those rockets.